Welcome to the Inside Syracuse Basketball podcast, brought to you by Crouse Health, the official partner of Syracuse Athletics, providing the latest technology and expertise in the treatment of stroke and cardiac emergencies. I'm Mike Waters. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by former Syracuse basketball player Tyus Battle. I talked with Tyus about whether he would ever play with Boeheim's Army, his foot injury that ended his season last year in Israel, and his experiences of playing pro ball in Russia and whether he would ever go back to that country. Well, welcome back to another edition of the Inside Syracuse Basketball podcast. And today we've got a great guest, former Syracuse basketball player Tyus Battle. Tyus, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
We're doing great. You know, I got a chance to see you at the TBT with Boeheim's Army playing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you in uniform there. You were on the sidelines, but that had to be kind of an interesting experience for you to come back and watch some guys you knew play ball.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I mean, it was my first time back in Syracuse in, I think, 3 years now. But it was great seeing the guys, seeing the alumni, seeing the coaching staff, and just seeing the fans in general. It was just great being back.
I mean, I was wondering, did the fans spot you immediately? How many autographs did you sign? Were they coming up to you?
Yeah, they were coming up to me, but like I always say to everyone, everywhere I go, I mean, Syracuse fans are the best fans in the country. And anytime, any Syracuse basketball player steps in that community, they're going to show them love. And it's really like a family atmosphere. It's great.
Do you see yourself playing for Boeheim's Army sometime down the road?
Yeah, sometime down the road. I mean, I thought about playing in this year, but unfortunately I had an injury, so I couldn't play. But yeah, maybe sometime down the road.
Well, you brought it up, the injury. You were walking around with a boot on your foot at the TBT. You were playing for Israel, right? Not for Israel. You were playing in Israel, in their pro league. How did you break it? Was it a broken bone? And how did you sustain that injury?
Yeah, so I started off the season in Italy, and then I was in Italy for 6 months, and then I went to Israel for the last 4. And I actually fractured my foot 2 games before the playoffs. Just made a play, stepped on it wrong. And I actually didn't even know it was fractured. I felt pain, but I didn't know it was fractured. I finished out the game, and I actually played another game after that. Then I finally got the MRI, and they told me, yeah, your foot's fractured. So I sat out during the playoffs and got the surgery when I came home to the United States.
You played an entire game,
yeah,
with a broken bone in your foot.
Yeah.
Where was the fracture?
Fifth metatarsal fracture. So I had to get surgery on it, and I've been rehabbing it for the past. I got the surgery in June. I'm still rehabbing now. So it's been, a good process, just recovering my body and just, it's good being home. So it's going well, and the rehab is going in the right direction.
All right. So it kept you out of the playoffs in Israel. It kept you off the roster for Boeheim's Army this summer. Maybe next summer for Boeheim's Army?
Maybe next summer.
Okay. You mentioned that you were playing in Italy at the first 6 months of this past season. But I looked it up. You were in an interesting part of Italy. You were on the island of Sardinia.
Yes. Sardinia, yes.
What was that like?
It was beautiful. I mean, it's so Sardinia is an island south of Italy. So you're not really on mainland Italy where Milan and Rome is and everything else. You're a little bit south. It's a beautiful island. I mean, it's a very popular vacation destination. A lot of people go there just to, see the water. I mean, the beaches there are amazing. And the people there are really nice. So I really enjoyed my time there.
That's not bad to live and work in a place that's a vacation destination for others, right?
Yeah, not bad at all.
How close were you? I mean, were you right on the ocean there?
Yeah, I was about a 10-minute drive to the beach. So I would go there a good amount. I mean, the water was extremely clear. The most I mean, I'm from New Jersey, so like the water here isn't the best. So going to Italy and seeing, you're able to see your feet through the water, crystal clear. It was pretty cool.
And you left there in January.
Yes.
Signed immediately with a pro team in Israel, and I know that Israel Pro League is very popular for former college athletes, Americans over there. In fact, one of your teammates was the Virginia guard, London Perantes, right?
Yes. London. London's a great guy. I mean, we always made jokes about the whole Syracuse, Virginia thing. I think I played him my freshman year, and we actually beat him at the Dome my freshman year. So I always made jokes about that. But he's a great player. We had a pretty good team, very talented players. And when I got there, we were struggling to make the playoffs, but we ended up making a huge playoff push, ended up making the playoffs. And unfortunately, we had a couple injuries, which set us back.
Yeah, you and London.
Yeah, me, London, and yeah. So it was unfortunate, but I'm really happy with the squad that we were able to make a really good playoff push at the end of the day.
What's it like to play in Israel, especially the part of the country that you were in? You were in a very kind of a smaller city there. You weren't in Tel Aviv or any place like that. And I don't even know if I'm going to even attempt to pronounce it, but it was like Ganir.
Ganir. Yeah. I was so Ganir is not. Ganir is not even a city. It's like more of it's like a community. Honestly, it's like you could think of it as like a suburb. So like it's just a small community. I'm about 40 minutes from Tel Aviv. I was in northern Israel. People there were extremely kind. People in Israel were extremely nice. Lifestyle was amazing. People at the beach every day. So weather was 80 plus every day. So I have no complaints at all.
Another beach?
Yeah. I got lucky. I mean, all my playing basketball career, I've been in cold areas, and now this year I've been in 2 warm areas. So.
Now, as a player, though, playing in Israel, especially Ganir, where you were, I looked it up. The arena is like a 2,200 seat arena. That seems fairly small.
Yeah.
What's that like as a pro athlete?
It's definitely different. But when the games are packed, they're packed. I mean, the fans, overseas fans are very passionate about their teams, and they represent their team. They traveled all across Israel to see us play every game. So the fans there were amazing, and the fans that honestly in every country I played in have been amazing so far. So it's pretty special there.
All right, there's one country I'm dying to ask you about in terms of like your travels through pro ball, and that's like I think it was 2 years ago. You were in the Russian Pro League. It's called the VTB.
Yeah.
Right, the VTB. So you're basically in Siberia there.
Yeah, I was in Siberia. Yeah.
Siberia. Yeah. Most Americans hear Siberia and they think, God, you're in parkas and it's snow and it's brutal weather.
Wilderness and wolves running around. Yeah. No, but so the city I was in Siberia was Krasnoyarsk. It's actually over 1 million people in that city. So it's a pretty big city.
Yeah, it's metropolitan. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It does get cold. We got -45. The coldest day was -45. But I really enjoyed it. The people there were amazing. Everyone was really kind. It's a very good basketball league. I would say it's one of the best in Europe. We have 3 EuroLeague teams, a couple Eurocup teams, a couple Champions League teams. So it's a very competitive league. And for that being my first experience in Europe, it was definitely a learning experience for me. But as the season went on, I started making pretty good strides, and I really enjoyed my time there.
What specifically did you enjoy about it? The city, the area, the culture, what specifically did you like?
time being overseas besides like Canada or something like that, or Mexico. It was my second time. I actually been to Dubai, but this is my first time living there for an extended period of time. So I really had to go out my way and just meet people. I had to try to learn the Russian language a little bit because in Siberia, pretty much no one speaks English. So that was definitely a process, just to order food or Grubhub things and talk to the delivery driver on the phone or something like that. But yeah, I was there for 10 months and I made some really good friends there that I still communicate to this day. And I really enjoyed it.
Or order lunch in Russian for me.
It's not the best now. It's not. All I know is like kuritsa, which is chicken. I would keep it really simple. Yeah, I would try my best, but it was definitely, some days were definitely a struggle. Like I would be on the phone with the guy for like 30 minutes just trying to get him to my apartment. So it's definitely a struggle sometimes.
Do you ever get lonely?
Yeah.
Can it be like a solitary experience?
I mean, so the thing overseas is you have to be, especially the first first month or two there, you have to really go out your way and get to know people. I mean, because there's a language barrier, there's a cultural barrier and stuff like that, and you don't know the area and stuff. So you really have to go out your way and try to get to know people, make some friends, and then they begin to showing you around and showing you how they live. And, so once that happened, it got a lot better for me. But the first couple months there were definitely a struggle. Just learning the style of play, because the European style of play is so different than the United States. The language barrier and everything else, and the travel, especially in Russia, the travel for me was very difficult. Every away game, we had to fly to Moscow, which is a 5-hour flight and a 4-hour time difference. And from Moscow, sometimes we had to fly even farther because not every team is in Moscow. So just that, and yeah, it was tough the first couple of months, but once I got adjusted, I really enjoyed my time.
Now, obviously, a lot has changed in Russia since you left.
Yeah.
There's now the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't know if the folks that probably watched and cheered you on in Krasnaya, if they're really aware of the war. So I don't really know how much within Russia has changed, but obviously things have changed from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Does that impact, your decision or other athletes' decisions maybe to go there next season?
Yeah, it definitely does impact it. I mean, I know once the war started, luckily I wasn't there, but once the war started, a lot of Americans left. And it's a really unfortunate situation because a lot of people don't know that. I mean, Ukraine, of course, is neighboring country to Russia. And a lot of people I know, their dad is from Ukraine, their mom is from Russia, or vice versa. And now with this whole war situation, it's really unfortunate what's going on there. And it's really sad to see. But yeah, as a basketball player, it definitely weighs your decision on if you want to go to that country or not. And for me personally, with the war going on, I definitely wouldn't go, but everyone makes their own decision at the end of the day.
The other thing that's kind of changed for athletes in, going over to play in Russia, especially Americans, is the Brittany Griner situation.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what your take is on what's happening with her.
It's sad to see. I mean, because a lot of people don't know. So a lot of WNBA players, they play overseas. After the WNBA season, they go overseas and they play basketball there. Because a lot of them, they make even more money overseas than they do in the WNBA. So Brittany Griner was making, I think, like 7 figures in Russia. She's been playing there for multiple years. She's comfortable she was in Moscow. She was comfortable with everything there. And then with this war and everything that's going on, the situation happens. And unfortunately, I think they're using her as like a political, pawn. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate to see. And I wish her the best of luck with that situation.
Whether there's a war going on or not, when you're an American, especially an American athlete, leaving Russia, I mean, how careful were you?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, well, honestly, I was first off, I was ready to go home. I mean, I was there for 10 months. I hadn't seen my family in 10 months. So I was extremely happy to be going home. But going through, their version of TSA and stuff like that, I'm always extremely careful. Because there's been times, you get stopped, they ask you questions and stuff like that. But the best thing you can do is keep calm, just answer the questions honestly, and usually it just lets you go.
oh, yeah, I can't imagine what she's going through at this point.
Yeah, it's really sad, really sad.
So what are your plans for next season? Does it depend on the continued rehab on your foot?
Yeah, it just depends on the continued rehab. I mean, like I said, the rehab is going well. I'm just starting to jump again, pretty much. So I have the boot off, walking without the boot. I'm doing stationary shooting now. So hopefully I get picked up around November or something like that. And but I don't want to rush it. I want to make sure I'm 100% ready to play. My foot's feeling good, body's feeling good, and I want to be able to make an impact as soon as I step on the floor.
Are you or your agent fielding calls already from teams? I mean, I'm sure some folks are probably calling to inquire about how you're doing and if you're interested.
Oh yeah, definitely. But actually, at this time, most guys are already. So people don't know, we leave out when you play overseas. You leave out in August. So most guys are already with their teams, working out, and they usually have their roster set already. But same with overseas. I mean, cuts happen, trades happen, all that stuff. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm ready, and when I get a call, I'll be ready to play.
Sure. I mean, we already know Jimmy Boeheim's in Greece, and we know Brandon Trish is back in Dubai.
Oh, okay.
Like the second year in a row. Yeah, he's there.
That's nice. Dubai is beautiful. Beautiful.
The other thing that happened in Russia when you were there is early on, I think you were among several guys on the team, right, that had COVID, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the year when COVID was going on, or that was the first season back from COVID.
Yeah.
And actually, I that was my first time getting COVID when I was in Russia. And during that time, they had to quarantine for like 14 days, but that was the time period everyone was quarantining for 14 days. So I think I got COVID in October. I quarantined for 14 days, and the VTB rule was to play again, you had to test negative twice. So I ended up being stuck in my apartment for about 20 days straight. And that was rough. And that's when I really had to learn some Russian, because I had to get the delivery guys to bring my food up to the door and everything else. So that was definitely a struggle, but I got through it.
Google Translate, right?
Yeah. Google Translate is the best invention of all time, in my opinion, because that got me through it.
Nearly 3 weeks in quarantine, and really early on over there. I mean, so what did the club do? Was the team able to help you through that at all?
Oh yeah, I mean, the team always kept in contact with me, make sure I was okay, asked if I needed anything. But the problem is that pretty much all our guys were sick at the time, because COVID spread so fast. So we played a game, and the team had a couple guys who had COVID. They spread it to us, and then we spread it amongst our teammates, and so all of us were pretty much quarantined at one time. So it was a whole big lockdown.
Unbelievable. That had to be just terrible.
No, it's terrible. But it happens. It happens, and I got through it. Everyone's healthy now.
Well, good for that, right? At least some blessings involved with it.
Definitely.
It was interesting. Right after I saw you at the TBT, maybe a week, maybe days later, a photo of you pops up on social media, and it's you and your little sister Gigi.
Yeah.
Standing in front of the Block S up at the Mello Center.
Yeah.
And she's got an offer from the Syracuse women's basketball team. Can you take me through that and what happened there with Gigi?
So yes, I mean, my little sister, if people don't know, she's just turned 14. She's going to be a freshman in high school this year. She's getting a lot better. She's extremely talented, athletic. And she just started playing basketball about 3 years ago. So
Yeah, I thought she was a soccer player.
Yeah, so when I was at Syracuse, she played soccer, she did ballet, she did a bunch of other things except basketball. And so then we were like, all right, everyone else plays basketball, so we're gonna put one in your hands and see how you like it. And she fell in love with the game, and she's been working really hard. So that's one of the other reasons I came to Syracuse, because she had an elite camp and I wanted to see her play. I haven't seen her play in about 2 years, and I was able to finally walk around with a boot on. So I saw her, watched her play. She played really well, and Syracuse ended up offering her. So, and she's extremely excited about it.
What was that like? Were you around? Were you within the earshot or whatever when I guess, was it Felicia Leggett, Jack, that made the offer to her?
Nah, I wasn't in earshot. I know. I just let her do her own thing. But for me, having my sister, get an offer from the university I went to is huge for me. I mean, I even showed her around campus a little bit. Try to persuade her a little bit.
She's going to be a freshman in high school this fall. How tall is she?
She's about 5'11" now, 5'10", 5'11". So she's been really growing. She can handle the ball, working on her jump shot, getting better with that, rebounds, plays hard, defends. So I think she has a chance to be really good.
And of course, she's not you and her. That doesn't stop there in the family. Your younger brother.
Yeah.
Caliph, right?
Yes, Caliph, yeah.
Got it right this time?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of been a running joke for the listeners out there. It's like I mangle his kid brother's name every time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do, but it is, you got it right this time. But Caliph, I mean, he had an amazing year last year. Started off playing amazing. Unfortunately, he had the same injury as me, which is crazy. He broke his fifth metatarsal as well, 7 games into the season. He plays for Temple in Philadelphia, and he was averaging 21 plus points per game, shooting 50% from the field, 48 from three. So he was playing amazing. And it's really unfortunate that happened to him. But, I mean, it made him, work even harder this summer. They have some guys returning, and they added some pieces. So I think they're going to have a pretty good squad this year.
Now, Temple and Syracuse are both in the Empire Classic in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
What happens if both of them win their opening round games and it's your kid brother against your alma mater?
I mean, I always have to go with family. So I mean, I love Syracuse every other game, Syracuse fans, if you're listening to every other game, but it's my little brother. So I mean,
Well, I guess it's all the more important then that Gigi goes to Syracuse, so you don't have split allegiances down the line.
Definitely.
All right, I got a pop quiz for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many points you scored in your Syracuse career?
Points?
Yeah. And do you know where you rank all time?
Honestly, I don't even know. I know I think it's over 1,500, I think.
A little more.
More?
Yeah. You got 1,647, 1,647. You ranked 17th all time.
17th all time?
Here's the real question, though.
Yeah.
You played only 3 years at SU.
Yeah, only 3 years, yeah.
There's only 2 guys who played just 3 years at SU that have more points than you. And I'm not counting Eric Devendorf. If he's listening, he played 3+. He got hurt like 12 games into a season. So he had 3.5. So Eric, I'm sorry, you're out. There's only 2 guys that scored more points than you in a 3-year career. Do you know who they are?
Oof. I didn't even know my points, so I definitely don't know this answer.
Dave Bing.
Oh, Dave Bing.
Who played back in the day when freshmen didn't play varsity ball, so his 3 years were actually his sophomore, junior, senior years.
Okay.
And Billy Owens.
Okay.
Two pretty good guys.
That's a pretty good list right there. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Do you ever regret leaving after that junior year, or think about what would have happened if you had stayed?
Me personally, I mean, I felt like, if people don't know, I graduated in 3 years. I mean, I did so many things, and
God, I hope they know. I wrote about it.
Yeah. So I graduated in 3 years and everything else. So honestly, I don't regret my decision at the end of the day. I love my time at Syracuse. Like I said, the fans are amazing. And I had some amazing experiences there. But at some point, you have to move on to a different level, and when you feel like you're ready, you have to make that decision for yourself. So at that point, I felt like I was ready to go. I came back to really finish school because I made that promise to my family. And I don't regret my decision at all.
You said you had some amazing moments at Syracuse. What stands out? Give me one or two.
Definitely our tournament run. I mean, that's the most amazing experience. I mean, for me, winning is everything. And with that team and what we went through the whole entire year, just beginning of the year, people already wrote us off in the beginning of the year. And to make that run was really special with that group. So I think that would be my favorite experience at Syracuse.
Probably cap it off.
Yeah. The Duke game at the Dome, that was amazing too. That was amazing. Actually, me and John still talk about it to this day. Andrew, we still talk about that game. So that was definitely an amazing experience. Georgetown at the Dome was a lot of fun my junior year. Duke at Duke my junior year was a lot of fun. So I had some pretty good experience at Syracuse.
Let me see, the one you were talking about with John was 2017 when John hit the game winner, right, against Duke.
Yeah, game winner against Duke.
In your junior year down there, you're talking that was the game where Elijah made the 3-quarter court shot.
3-quarter shot
right before halftime.
Yes. Yeah,
those were some big moments. You didn't mention Clemson, your freshman year, your first game winner. I mean, you were known. You became known as a guy who made clutch shots.
Yeah.
Clemson was your first one at SU, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Clemson was my first one. Clemson was a big one too because we definitely needed that game. Unfortunately, we didn't make the tournament that year, but that was a big game for us. I mean, I think that game we were on a little bit of a run, and that kept our run going. So that was a big game for us.
No question. All right. Well, how do you say thank you and goodbye in Russian?
Oh man. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think spasiba. Spasiba, something like that. I don't know if my pronunciation is the best, but it's something like that. Spasiba is thank you.
Well, I wish you continued good health, continue to rehab that foot, get better, and I look forward to seeing where you end up this coming season. I know you'll be playing ball somewhere.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for dropping by the podcast.
Of course, anytime.
All right, Tyus Battle there, everybody. We appreciate his time. And we'll talk to you again soon on the Inside Syracuse Basketball Podcast.